Hey there, I'm Bas Rutten, UFC Hall of Famer, and I'm here to let you know about the o2Trainer. When I was 12 years old, I started doing track and field, and very soon I realized that I was pretty good at pretty much everything. So I wanted to become the Dutch decathlon champion. That was my goal. Now, everything went well, high jump, long jump, whatever, javelin, discus, shot put, everything went really well, except, of course, my running times, because my running had a problem. I had a problem. I had severe asthma. Severe asthma for me would mean an inhaler every single day. I was taking 3 times 15 pills a day, 45 pills a day. And then every 5 weeks or so, I would have an asthma attack. And that would mean I would be in bed for 7, 8 days, not able to eat even because I couldn't breathe. Literally, like laying in bed like that 24/7 for 7 or 8 days straight. Now, after an attack, a few days later, when I would resume my track and field again, I would always break my running times, and it drove me nuts. I go like, why is that? Why do I break my running times after an attack? Is it the medication I was taking? I had no clue. Now then one day I went to the doctor's office for my asthma, of course, and on the wall I saw a poster with a drawing of a pair of lungs. And that's when I realized that the infection in your lungs is not in your lungs, it's actually in the airways that go to your lungs. And on the poster it showed a healthy airway and an infected airway. And that was it. I realized right away, oh man, I've been breathing in with resistance to this infected area, unknowingly making my lungs much stronger. So now when the infection is gone and I'm much stronger, it's much easier for me to breathe. Oh, why don't I come up with something that controls the air intake? I was 14 years old at the time. Okay, so how are we going to do that? And I have one on my keychain actually as a friendly reminder. Look, a washer. That was my first o2Trainer idea. This little thing. I would put that in front of my teeth, and then I would try to breathe in through that hole. And of course, I wanted that hole to go smaller and smaller and smaller. But then very soon I realized it is a very dangerous thing to do, because if I open my mouth and it shoots in and it passes one of those airways, well, once it's in your lungs, you can't Heimlich it out, you die. That's what happens with people with gum. Don't have gum in your mouth when you sport, because it can literally shoot inside your lung, and that's it. So I needed to come up with something else. And that idea was always in my mind. Always, always, always. And every time we would go to a party, there was always somebody who would say, hey man, I have a great idea for an invention. And they would tell their idea. And every time when I would tell my idea about the o2Trainer, which actually we called the Ruttenizer at the time, everybody told me, man, you got to make that. That's a really good idea. Now, many years later, and I'm talking 30 years later, because this is like 10 years ago, I was watching The Ultimate Fighter, and Vanderlei Silva was one of the coaches on The Ultimate Fighter, which is a show in where 2 coaches train mixed martial artists, and they have to compete at the end. The coaches have to compete as well. And what he did for his students, he let them breathe in through a snorkel device. And what he was doing was rebreathing carbon dioxide. It sparks the red blood cell a little bit, but it doesn't matter what he was trying to do. What happened was my phone started ringing, and my friends started texting me, and they say, dude, that Ruttenizer that you're talking about, you got to make it, because look, somebody's going to come close. He's doing this with the scuba diving thing now. Maybe somebody else is going to come up with it. So I figured, you know what? Let's try to make something. So we came up with the o2Trainer, a device, a very simple device. It has 2 openings. One on this side. If you breathe out, it opens up. If I breathe in, this one closes, and that means you're forced to breathe into this side. Now, this is just like a weight, so to say. You know, this is a weight for all different kinds of strength. So instead of having a 10-pound, a 15-pound, and 20-pound weight, no, this has all in one. As you can see, it kind of looks like a weight as well. So this is when you breathe in with resistance. And once you start doing that, you're training your muscles, your breathing muscles, to get stronger. Now people are going to go, breathing muscles, what's going on? Your lungs breathe for you. I said, no, your lungs don't actually do anything. Your lungs are just 2 bags. When people say, oh, you have strong lungs, you can't have strong lungs. You can have healthy lungs, but you can't have strong lungs. But the breathing muscles, they are the muscles that breathe for you. Now, I try to explain it. Between your body and the lungs, there's a vacuum. And when you expand your chest, that vacuum opens up the lungs. And if you don't understand what a vacuum is, imagine your lungs are taped to the inside of your body. And the only way for them to open up is to actually expand your chest, and that's how you pull air in. That is literally how lungs work. So if you do this with resistance, you start training those breathing muscles, which are your intercostal muscles, your outer intercostal muscles, and your diaphragm. Well, those are 11 pounds of breathing muscles, which you cannot train other than with a device like the o2Trainer. Now, the diaphragm does a lot of things. It massages your intestines. It's like a disc that hangs like this in your belly, in the mid here, so the bottom of your ribs. That's where your diaphragm is located. It's for your balance as well. And when you expand the diaphragm, it's like a frisbee. It expands, and if you can see from the front, it gets wider. So imagine this happening inside your body. It will expand your chest. That, together with the outer intercostal muscles, which are the muscles in between your ribs, those muscles will open up your lungs. The more you can expand, the more air you can pull in your lungs. Plus, not only that, you are training your breathing muscles. Do you know that once you're gassing, that feeling of gassing, that is literally oxygenated blood leaving your limbs to support the number one priority in your body, your breathing muscles. That's why you're getting fatigued, because nobody trains, nobody works out those 11 pounds, and that's an average human being. I'm 200 pounds. So that means I might have like 13 pounds of breathing muscles. And if you don't train those muscles, well, they're not in sync with your body. So once I start using the o2Trainer and training and working out those breathing muscles, my breathing became insane. What I realized is within 3 weeks of training with the o2Trainer, with the prototype I had then, all the way back 10, 11 years ago, my asthma was gone. Understand this, I was carrying an inhaler with me everywhere I went. Always one in my pocket. For every single fight that I had in my life, I needed to spray my lungs open in the dressing room, because like many asthma patients have, if I go hard for 1 minute, my lungs will close. It's called like exercise-induced asthma. A lot of people have the same thing. Or when I sneeze violently 3 times in a row, my lungs will close. If I don't have an inhaler with me, that could be trouble. So 3 weeks in, my asthma is gone. I go, this is crazy. So I sent it to a friend of mine in Holland who also has asthma. And that's why I said, start training with this thing. I mean, my asthma is gone. He called me 8 days later. I swear this is all true. 8 days later, he says, dude, I want to sell these things in Europe. He's actually selling them for me right now in Europe because my asthma is gone. And that's when I knew, okay, we have something here. We can train the breathing muscles, and the stronger they are, the easier it is to pull air in. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still be allergic to things. Like now with pollen, and I had this 2 years ago, I was hiking with my dog, and the pollen really got to me, and I started wheezing, and I didn't have an inhaler anymore. So I go, uh-oh, this could be trouble. I go, you know what? It's much stronger now. I just keep on walking. I just kept on walking. It was absolutely no problem. Now, then I came out with the o2Trainer, and then people start using it. And now everything started coming together. Every single person who used the o2Trainer and actually used it, telling me, oh, my asthma is 70% gone. I almost don't use my inhaler anymore. So now I really knew I had something very powerful. 4 or 5 years ago, friends of mine introduced me to Dr. Bas Rutten, a world-renowned breathing expert. And they told me you have to contact her because, she knows a lot about breathing. So I went to visit her at her office on 5th Avenue in New York. So the first thing, what she did when I came in was measuring my chest expansion. And I know why she's doing that. She wants to see how much I can expand. So she says, okay, exhale. And she puts a measuring tape around me and she says, inhale. And she goes, and she started laughing. She goes, no, that's impossible. She said, do it again. So I do it again. And then she says, one moment. And she walks out. And she comes back with another doctor. I go, okay, what's going on here? She says, well, if I don't bring him, he's not going to believe what I just measured. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, normally when somebody comes in and breaks our record of chest expansion, they break it like maybe by 1/8 of an inch. You just went almost 2 inches over. This is unheard of. We've never seen any numbers like that. And that's when Dr. Bas Rutten gave me an A+ for my breathing IQ. How does stamina work? How do you get in shape? I just train really hard. Yeah, but why? Why do you get in shape? Well, I have the answer for you. If you train a muscle over and over again, that muscle becomes more efficient. And once a muscle becomes more efficient, it uses less oxygen. You can do this with any muscle in the body, except your breathing muscles, your inspiratory breathing muscles. Exhaling is done by your core, your inner intercostal muscles, and your obliques. That is breathing out. Everybody can do that. You squeeze and it's out. Inspiratory muscles are muscles that you cannot work out only with an inspiratory muscle training device, which is exactly what the o2Trainer is. So now you're training your breathing muscles to become more effective. And once they become more effective, they also use less oxygen, hence your stamina increases. The survival rule of 3. What does it mean? Well, that means that the average human being can go 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 minutes without oxygen. So everybody's paying attention to their protein and whatever they take and whatever they drink, and nobody's paying attention to the number 1 priority in your body. Are you crazy? And that's why we have the o2Trainer. You might ask yourself, where can you do the breathing exercises? Well, anywhere you can sit. In this case, it's simple, a chair. Yes, it's that easy. Okay, there's 2 breathing exercises. Exercise number 1 will attack the front breathing muscles. And as you can see with me right now, they're getting really thick here at the diaphragm level, which is a good sign. That means I'm doing it correctly. Exercise number 2 will attack the back breathing muscles. And now you're going to go, back breathing muscles, Bas? Yeah, I didn't know either. A note to you though, do not do 30 repetitions when you do the first time your back breathing exercise, because those muscles you never worked out before and they're going to be in intense pain for 4 or 5 days like you worked out a very hard back workout. So don't do that. All right, let's take a look at what the exercises are going to look like. Exercise number 1. Attack the front breathing muscles. Please pay attention, watch this video because there's a lot of details. For maximum benefit, you want to do everything correct. Now, we're going to start by using these muscles and not raising our shoulders when breathing in. This is important. A lot of people breathe in while raising their shoulders. If you feel that you are doing that, just grab the bottom of your chair so you can't raise your shoulders, and then you can only focus on pushing out your core. Now, with what breathing cap, resistance cap, should I start with? Well, most people start with 4, 5, or 6. So figure it out. You need a cap with which it will take you between 3 and 4.5 minutes to complete 30 repetitions. I'm going to show you this exercise right now and pay close attention to detail. The biggest mistake people make is coming up too fast, and then once they're sitting up straight, they're still inhaling through the o2Trainer. You want to time it in such a way that once you sit up straight, that is the end of your inhale. All right? So breathe out completely, and you want to breathe in also completely. This is important. Don't do half breaths. Everything out. Put the o2Trainer in. And you want to do 30 repetitions like that. Once you start feeling these muscles, you're doing something right. What you're going to feel in the beginning is a lot of muscle aches the next day in your neck, because what happens is you never did this exercise before. So people start stressing out and they start overcompensating in different muscles. Once you get the exercise down, all the muscles become relaxed and you only got to focus on pushing these muscles out. So a little neck pain, muscle aches, you're probably going to get, but just know it's all going to disappear. Breathing exercise number 2 will attack the back breathing muscles. And one more time, I know I said it before, do not do 30 repetitions the first time you do this exercise. I was that idiot and did 30 repetitions, and I walked around with intense muscle aches for the next 4 or 5 days. More users had the same experience. So just do 10. And then the next time you do the exercise, do 15. And once you're up to 20, you can do 30. Slowly but surely. Now, this exercise, we sit up straight and we cramp our core together, squeeze everything together, the obliques and the abs, to press the air out. And if you want to push a little bit more air out, you can push your shoulder blades together. That pushes a little bit more air out of your lungs. Your o2Trainer is in your mouth, and then you're going to start leaning forward. Now my legs are in a 90-degree angle, so here, horizontal, and I'm leaning on my legs, and now I'm focusing on the back the middle of my back to expand. So the middle of my back, I focus on that to expand. You're really going to feel this exercise. Okay, so here we go. Complete inhale, complete exhale. Do not go to a hard resistance cap right away. Slowly but surely, and that will do the trick. This is the o2Trainer. It has a flap on one side. Look, it opens up. You can exhale with zero resistance. Once you breathe in, this one closes, which will force you to breathe in to this side. And this comes with all different kinds of caps. 1 millimeter, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, up to 14 millimeter. Now, if you want to know what cap is what, well, it says right here, 2.5 millimeter. This one is 1.5 millimeter. You pull it off, you put the 1.5 millimeter on there, and bada bing, bada boom, you're good to go. Now, the mouthpiece is made in such a way that you can clench your jaw, and that means I would, at the end of my inhale, I would swallow first, and then I will go back up and exhale again. This way, you don't start drooling through the o2Trainer.